my TMAU family, and everyone else who may be watching me. For you guys who don't know, I have trimethylaminoria, and it's short for TMAU. And it's basically a fishy odor. It can be a sewage odor. It can be any stinky odor. And it's not my fault. I'm a completely clean person. I am. I wash up, I bathe. Sometimes I even take 3 baths a day. But it all has something to do with chemicals that we all have in our body, which is called trimethylamine. And what happens with people with TMAU is they have too much of it, so much that it's hard to turn it into an odorless chemical before it releases out of your body. And so, because it can't turn to an odorless chemical, when it just comes out of your body as it is, it stinks really bad. So that has nothing to do with me not bathing. I bathe really well. Yeah, and I'm a clean person. Having this condition, a lot of people with TMAU, they can be judged a lot when they go out and with their everyday lives. I just want to let you guys know, who's watching this, who don't have TMAU, when you come across people like that, just be very kind to them. Even if it's a smell that you know you just cannot, it's really hard, you don't like, you just don't want to smell it. Be very kind. I'd rather for you to walk off and be very kind than to be in their face being rude, trying to embarrass them. Because how would you feel if somebody was to embarrass you? And another thing with having TMAU is having this condition. I noticed that a lot of stinky people who are just, I'm gonna be nice, a lot of smelly people who are just smelly because they just don't bathe and take good care of their hygiene. A lot of them, I guess it's like, oh, a guilty conscience because they know that they're not good taking care of their hygiene, and I can obviously smell them, and they don't even have TMAU, but they just don't bathe. But they're talking about somebody with TMAU. So I could be a horrible person, and I can say, well, I'm smelling you, you stink right now. Like, but I feel like 2 wrongs don't make a right. You know, I just pray for those people. I pray for those people and move on about it. Even the job that I just left, I pray for those people. I pray because I was working with a bunch of women, and those women, they were really, like, when I first started there, I wasn't going through TMAU. It happened later on, like when I settled in a job. And so, you know, all the women, they were nice to me. We were cool. They were my friends. It's burning up out here in Chicago. It's hot. But when I got this condition, I noticed how, like, you know, standoffish they were, how they started to treat me and stuff like that. And I'm gonna tell you what, I didn't let them treat me any type of way. Even in the midst of me having this condition, I still know that I'm a beautiful person on the outside and the inside. You know, it's a lot of people, and they're only beautiful on the outside, but their inside is ugly. But the fact that I'm beautiful on the outside and the inside, that says a lot about me. And even evil people, they can't break me at all. Because I have a lot that's coming in life, a lot to come. And when they see this beautiful, gorgeous person that's walking up, and then they smell me, if they do smell me, they gonna definitely have something to say. Because you're already a beautiful person on the outside, and you're beautiful on the inside. So they can't say anything about you. So when they finally do have something to say, which is the TMAU, they're gonna make sure they make it known. Guys, be strong. Stand up for yourself. Don't let anybody talk to you. Work their job. And then there's a lot of, and if you feel like it's too hard for you to work, you know, a public job, it's so many. Like me, I'm in this associate's degree program for a medical billing and coding specialist. So, you know, I've been at this for like almost a year now, and I will be done in December. And my commencement is in it's in March, so it's in spring of next year, but I'm finished this year in December. So when I'm done, I can start, I can, you can work medical billing and coding jobs online. You can work those jobs online. Um, so for anybody who feel like at this point they don't want to go out and work in the public right now, you can literally, it's so many different remote jobs online, not even just medical billing and coding. It's literally customer service jobs, telemarketer jobs, and you can do more than one of these jobs if you feel like you're not getting paid enough. And then not only that, if you want something else that's where you're making a little bit more money, you can actually go to school and you can study these like medical coding jobs, these health management jobs that you can still do remotely. Like you can study all of this stuff, and it'll literally be good. It'll literally be okay. You know, but don't let anything stop you. I know people just like, well, it's hard for me to, you know, go to work, and it's hard for me to go to the DMV, and it's hard. Yes, like it's hard for me too at the same time. But we're unstoppable people, and this condition called trimethylaminoria, it is something else. It's something else, and it's a lot to deal with. I do want to want to let you guys know. So when I was in high school, it was this girl, and I was a senior by then, but she was like, I think she was a sophomore, if I'm not mistaken. She was either a freshman or a sophomore. And around this time, I didn't have TMAU, but every day she would walk in the hallways, like walk through the hallways when the bell would ring, and everybody would just be moving away from her. And she would always have this urine smell to her. She would smell like urine, or like kind of like what people with TMAU now is described to smell. How I noticed that it was actually a condition and it wasn't just her like not, having proper hygiene, is when she would smell like this every day. Like every day, this girl would walk past in the hallways, I would smell her. And I knew just by smelling it as well that it's literally a condition. It don't smell like it's something like, it's a big difference. You can, like me having TMAU now, I obviously know the difference. Somebody who just not properly bathing themselves without TMAU versus somebody with TMAU, and it's just the chemical inside of them. But I knew right away that it was a condition. And everybody would make fun of this girl. They would poke fun of her, talk about her. And every time I would see her in the bathroom, it would be by my digital media class where I would always see her walking. I would always smile at her. I would always just smile at her. She would be looking at me through the mirror. I would always just smile at her, give her a friendly smile, and just say, hey. I would always make sure to smile at her and say hey to her, because I didn't know what she was going through back then. I do know now, but like back then I didn't know what she was going through. And she was the only one in the school who was going through this, and I literally felt bad for her. I didn't remember this girl's name. I did not remember her name at all. I never got her name. But what I do know is I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. My yearbook, I told myself, I'm going to find this girl. I'm going to try to reach out to her and ask her for help, because I never went through anything like this. So I went through my whole yearbook, not even knowing her name, but just remembering like how her teeth was, how her face was, like just remembering certain parts of how she looked. And that's when I found a person who looked closer to her in my head. Because this was all the way in high school years ago. And I finally found her, and I reached out to her, and she did not get back to me. But I basically asked her, I said, how did you do it? I was just asking her, I'm so sorry you went through that, and I didn't know about it back then. I said, I don't know if you remember me, but I used to be in a bath. Sometimes when we used to be in a girl's bathroom, I used to always speak to you and say hi and smile at you. Cause you know, I wouldn't really see her. I would see her in the hallway, but she would have friends. Like, she would have good friends, but they would always be walking together. But like, I would never glance at her. Only sometimes, but I would still speak. But most of the time in the bathroom is when I would see her, and the girls talked about her so bad, like in front of her face. And I was just thinking, like, if I could go back in time, I would have literally said more to her. Like, I was never mean to her like the other people, but I feel like it's more I could have said to her. It's more that I could have helped her with. I could have been her friend. Like, even though I was a senior, she was like a freshman or sophomore or something. I could have made her feel like she had a friend in me, because at the same time, that's not how I was raised. And even back then in high school, when I smelled this girl, and I didn't have TMAU around this time, like, I obviously said to myself, okay, it's obviously an unpleasant smell, but it didn't make me squinch up my nose. It didn't make me move away from him. Even like before I had this in general, like just walking down the street, not walking down the street, but if I was on a bus and somebody would come past me, like, I would get aggravated if they would smell, but like, I wouldn't be rude to them or out loud say something rude, like, you stink, or you stinky MF, or like, just you know, like, just being really disrespectful and calling them out their name and stuff like that, you know. And I hope the day don't come when somebody feel like they can say anything like that to me, because it can't happen. And that's the thing, like, in the midst of what I'm going through, people know that they have no choice but to respect me, because I don't allow anybody to disrespect me. I don't. I feel like I'm worth so much. I'm worthy of so much to just be disrespected, you know. So I'm just telling you guys, literally, to be strong. And for those of you, like, just still have hope. Have hope. Me right now, I'm just trying to handle the diet part. Like, as far as, like, I know the things that could help me reduce the smell. However, I'm trying to work on the diet part, as far as, like, making sure my diet is low in choline and all of that. Be consistent with that. And I want to also start, like, working out a lot, because, you know, I want to see if that can help too. Just have a healthy lifestyle overall. I just don't want to take probiotics or eat a lot of fruit, but then still have an unhealthy lifestyle, not exercising, and still eating fast food on the side, even though I'm eating all of those fruits and veggies, eating a lot of fast food. Like, I don't want to do that. I want to be more healthy than anything. If not, be more healthy or be only healthy. Like, my goal is to actually be only healthy. Like, and then, you know, when I take those probiotics, see if that'll help, you know. However, I did tell you guys that I think it came from skin bleaching. So if you guys don't know, I got my skin bleaching creams from overseas. I got some from Thailand. I got some from Nigeria. And I didn't do my research before, but I did it after the fact that I had it. And I just want to let you guys know that skin bleaching creams, they are high in hydroquinone and mercury. And hydroquinone and mercury are so toxic for our bodies. It is not supposed to be in our body, but when you use bleaching soaps, creams, serums, whatever, and you use enough of it, even sometimes if you use a low amount, you might not be too lucky. It goes into your bloodstream. It can travel all the way to your bloodstream, and it can interact. Those two heavy metals, it can interact with the food you eat, and when it interacts with the food you eat, it create a foul odor smell. And that smell, it can be called trimethylammonia. Now, I did my research on this. I'm going to show you guys the video. And so I learned that my condition, it could have possibly came from skin bleaching. There being heavy metals such as mercury and hydroquinone found in my bloodstream. And to remind you guys, I've been stopped. I stopped like almost 6 months ago skin bleaching. I know that's not a long time, but it's a start, and I don't want to go back to it, especially after developing this condition. But I do want to say that I was doing that all the way into 2020, into 2023. So I was doing it for like about 3 years, and so even if I did, try to do something so, big and bizarre to get rid of this smell, trimethylamine, it will probably take 3 years. It will probably take even longer than that, because I can't expect to get rid of it like that. And when I was really putting heavy metals, toxins in my body for 3 years, I can't expect for those toxins to leave within 1 week, to leave within 5 months, to leave within a year. It all depends on me and how I treat myself. But I left that stuff in the past, and I said I do not want to go back to that.